Okay, so just remember that anything that you do volunteer-wise, make sure you send that to Holly. Okay, the program for December the 21st. December 21st, we do have new member inductions and club assemblies, so make sure to come. We will be meeting the 21st. We won't meet the meeting after Christmas, okay? So please come on the 21st. Wear something holly cheerful. If you are a part of the ugly Christmas sweater Christmas party, wear that. Wear the whole outfit. And I would like to say, we have the winner of the ugly Christmas sweater Christmas party right here. Annie Dwyer won, and that was a $100 gift card to Hobbies. And she didn't stop with just the sweater. She had the whole entire outfit. So we had stuff that lit up. It was really, really great. Thank you so much for everybody that came out. And if you didn't come in, you really missed a good time. So we will have another 5 o'clock somewhere coming up. We will announce that. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to welcome the world's best president-elect, Colby McElwee, to the podium. And he is going to introduce our district governor, Karen Mays.
There it is. The sheet here. Karen told me I could make it very brief, and that way I can give her a lot of time. So I'm going to just touch on a couple very quick facts here. She has been a part of the Longview Gregton Club since 2001, so 21-year Rotarian. She is a second-generation Rotarian. Her father was a part of the Longview Gregton Club as well in the 1970s and 1980s. She also served as president of the Longview Club from 2019 and 2020. And she also helps a lot with Ryla. I know that that's the big thing when I first met her. That was her bringing in, talking to us. It was about Ryla, and I know she really enjoys that. And now, if you would, just join me in welcoming Karen Mays.
Thank you. Oh, y'all have me real nervous. Okay. I brought a little speech.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I was fortunate to meet with your board earlier, and I didn't have any really advice to give this club, just so you know. And this is something Diane, thank you Diane for applying for and becoming a district governor down the road. You go to clubs and you steal ideas, right? And I've been stealing ideas from this club for a long time and sharing with other clubs in the district. And I also laid out my schedule such that some of what we would consider struggling clubs perhaps, not in a bad way, but just that they wanted me there for what the district could offer, did them early, right? And so now y'all are number 37 out of 41 clubs. I'm almost to the finish line on club visits. And then I get to circle around and go back and visit some of them. I am having the best time serving you. And for anyone that is in your board, your president role, your future president role, past president role, please consider serving on a district level, even applying for a district governor role down the road, because this has been so amazingly fulfilling. And it's because of y'all. It's not because of me. I know when you heard a district governor was coming, you probably said, oh, I feel a sick coming on. But then I heard you were having club assembly next week. And so it was like, oh, I can't miss 2 weeks in a row. I guess I better go hear that girl. So thank you for coming today, because I'm not here about me. I'm here about you. I know what your club does. I had them actually, your board actually had to say it out loud today, which was great, because sometimes y'all get so busy, you forget what you're doing, right? You forget the impact you're having. You forget the lives you're changing. And I want to address something about the trafficking thing. As a dental hygienist, and I've been one now for 43 years, we are required to take a trafficking course in order to renew our licenses. We have to be able to recognize certain signs. My husband, Randy, has an air conditioning and heating business and a lot of employees. They're in people's homes. They have had training to recognize the signs. And I'm sure you offer that to any business that wants that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. If you have a business where you are going into homes or other, I'm sure you'd be happy to tell them who would be the best to do it, talk to him. It's a huge problem. At our pets training a couple of years ago, we actually had a speaker that had been trafficked in her teenage years. It's amazing how easy it is. And it's not just the sex trafficking. There's also work trafficking. People that are pressed into servitude because they have no other option. And so thank you for your service. And thank you for being the first club to step up and say, what can we do? Because that's what Rotarians do, right? That's why you became a Rotarian. You really didn't become a Rotarian for lunch, right? Maybe some of you did. Okay, if you're coming here, I don't blame you, right? It's too many choices, awesome selection. But you came because you have that servant's heart. And I want to thank you. Our theme, Rotary International, 1.4 million of you servants have a theme this year because our president of Rotary International had to pick one, right? I brought pens that has create hope in the world. I brought one for everybody. Create hope. Think about that. We need a lot of hope right now, don't we? I mean, it's Christmas time and I know I'm blessed. Way more. And it is surely by the luck of the body I was born in. Why my soul was put in this one and I have all the blessings in the world that I have, I don't know. I didn't earn it. But I sure as heck plan on paying it back. And making sure those less fortunate than I've been, which is a lot of people, can have some of what I've been blessed with. I mean, the fact that I have 2 cars to choose from, one's in the shop, so by golly, I got a spare. Can you imagine someone that doesn't have a car? Can't get to work? I mean, especially in Texas, people. We are a car-centric society. Not every person can go to work without a vehicle. So hope, create hope in the world. And Tyler Rotary's doing that. Do y'all prefer Rotary Club of Tyler or Tyler Rotary? I'm not gonna say 5 sentences. So the what?
The Rotary Club.
The Rotary Club of Tyler. Got it.
You have to say it like
But you can also add,
There's a university south of here that kind of does that too.
you can also add since 19.
And I hate to tell you this, but I'm a Sooner fan. Hey, we're not in the playoffs. We get to go to San Antonio to play in a bowl. You know, just saying. I was hoping we'd get to go to the Independence Bowl over at Shreveport. You know, anything to keep going. That's another one of those hopes. Maybe hope for next year, right? Hope. I want you to imagine for a second that you are a parent. You have children, and the parent can barely keep the electricity on, can barely buy groceries. Imagine the child this time of year, right? Rotary Club of Tyler. You provide hope. Your giving, your generosity helps parents and children in your community have a little bit more hope than they had maybe last year or last week. Maybe they might keep the heat on another day or have a meal on the table. Picture a student desperate for an education. Knowledge is power, right? Imagine not having the funds. Rotary Club of Tyler provides hope, can provide perhaps a bit of education beyond what they could do on their own. You are doing that. Picture a mom with a premature baby. Not in this country. Picture a premature baby in Guatemala. Picture a mom who's happy the baby's coming. It's a blessed event, but it's too soon. And there's no incubators. Rotary Club of Tyler, y'all are providing those incubators. Y'all have given a family hope that their child may survive. You're also giving hope because there's actually water. Look at your table. See all those beautiful, shining glasses of water? Do you see anything floating in them? Do you see anything swimming in them? Imagine being somewhere where that's the case. Where your water, you had to walk 6 hours to get it, and you hope it doesn't kill you. You can't turn on a faucet. Rotary Club of Tyler, y'all are providing that water, that hope. Hope that you don't get dysentery, that you don't die, that you can wash your hands, that you can go to school, because in Mexico, if there's not a bathroom with water, girls of a certain age can't go to school. Once you hit that puberty mark, you're kicked out. The hope of knowledge, the hope of education is dictated by the fact that there's no running water. You are fixing that. It's a great day to be a Rotarian, isn't it? Yes, say it with me. It's a great day to be a Rotarian. One more time. It's a great day to be a Rotarian. Do you realize that your reach in the city, the county, the state, the world? You know, a drop of water doesn't seem like a lot. $1 doesn't seem like much. But you start putting it together with other drops, other dollars, you can float a boat. You can fill an ocean. You can put enough vaccines in children to wipe out 99.8% of the polio cases so far. You are doing that. And you're working so hard and you're doing it. Picture a child born with a cleft lip and palate, or worse. That child will not be taken out of the house. That child will be shunned. No education, no socialization. You're fixing that. You are providing surgeries to repair that cleft lip and palate. And as a dental professional, that's not a hard fix. That's easy. It just takes money, doctors, a place to do it. And speaking of a place to do it, you've put hope in Guatemala with a hospital. Do you realize women were nursing their babies in a hot room on a 103-degree day? Not outside, inside was 103 degrees. You put air conditioning, something we take for granted. Oh my gosh, my husband and I, thank goodness we have one of those smart thermostats on the wall, or we'd be fighting over up, down, up, down, up, down all the time. What if we didn't have it? You are providing that hope for people. You're finding out if children need eye surgery before they go blind. You are doing that. You're putting hope in a parent's heart that their baby will be able to see. Picture a polio survivor, paralyzed since 1955, right up the road, Shawnee, Oklahoma. I grew up right outside of Shawnee. Got here, I was 9 years old. Lived just outside of Shawnee. There's a lady still living there in an iron lung. Problem is, you've heard of tornadoes, right? Tornado Alley gets a lot of them. I remember those days of being in our neighbor's underground storm shelter. They're fun to play in when you're 10 years old and it's a sunny day. When it's cloudy and rainy and thundering, you don't want to be in there with those daddy long legs and that water and somebody else's kid's poopy diaper. You don't want to be in there. Imagine being terrified that a storm is going to knock out your electricity. What are you going to do if you're in an iron lung? Y'all sent a generator to this lovely lady in Shawnee, Oklahoma. She says thank you, by the way. Picture bombs going off, friends and family dying. You're fleeing for your life. You make it to a refugee camp, and who is there waiting with tents and water and food and clothing? You are there. Rotary. Hope. Our neighbors in Israel right now, they love Rotary. The Ukraine? Yep. Some of the first people there are you, delivering hope. Imagine a tornado in your city. Ask Idabel. Thank God it was only on the ground for a quarter of a mile. F4, big as they get, right? Big as I ever want to see on TV. You were there. You brought food, replaced their medicines. You didn't even know it, y'all are so busy. That's good. It's good to be busy. It keeps us out of trouble. Imagine a fire. Not the kind in a fireplace. Imagine a fire coming out of nowhere in the middle of the night, roaring through Tyler. Part of Tyler is gone. What happens now? You! Rotary's there, putting Lahaina back together. Do you know what that Rotary clubs out there are most happy about? That damn burial center. Ask Brandy over at South Tyler. They lost everything in the club. Some of the members lost everything. A bell. People were crying over a bell because this says hope. This says y'all care. To another sister Rotary Club. One of my district governor classmates lives up just south of Memphis. He's in Mississippi. The immediate past district governor lost his granddaughter to Hamas, killed in the fight. It does get close to home, doesn't it? Hope. You are putting pencils and books and dictionaries and paper in the hands of students who would not get an education otherwise. Do you realize how many cases of polio you prevented last year? Anybody want to guess? You. Right here in District 5830. Your donations, you prevented 240,000 cases of polio. That's hope, people. You're not creating it, you're giving it. You're giving it. Your heart is giving it. You have that ripple effect. Jacksonville collects money for polio in a basket. When they come in and they get their name badges, they put their spare change in a basket. They don't even look. They just, here it is. Give it all to Polio Plus. And do you realize with polio, you know what the plus is? Anybody in here remember what diphtheria is? Tetanus? Measles, mumps? I like to visit old cemeteries. I'm not weird. When I was up in Texarkana, there's a wonderful old cemetery up there that I had to go check out. There are sections, brothers and sisters all buried together within the same year. And you gotta, and I take pictures. I have pictures on my phone. All of them died in a few weeks' time, a month's time, a week's time. I have a picture of 6 little graves. Diphtheria. As a healthcare provider, you learn a lot of weird things in school. You don't ever want to see what diphtheria does. But it's out there, people. And if we're not careful, it'll be back here. Just saying. So, before we get all too sad and depressed, I have a surprise. Okay. I became a Rotary Club member in 2001. I waited till 2001 for somebody to ask me. I have been wanting to be a Rotarian since my dad was in Rotary, but until 88, I was a girl, couldn't be one. Then, once I could be one, by 1988, I had been a hygienist for 8 years. I worked for a Rotarian. Then I worked for 2 Rotarians in Rotary Gregton. Did they ask me to be a Rotarian? No. I finally got asked by one of my high school classmates, Lori Pierce. She was president of the club that year in 2001. Oh, heck yes. Please. Why didn't I ever ask to be a Rotarian? Why didn't I ever ask my boss to take me to lunch? He'd probably said yes in a heartbeat. He probably figured out, no, she's busy. She's got a kid. I know she didn't want to be a Rotarian. Yes, please. Don't forget to ask people. They're waiting on you to ask. So I became a Rotary Club member 2001. I got really into Rotary when I went to RILA. RILA is the best leadership training this district has to offer. And God bless you for sending 12 kids or as many kids over the years as you have, because it is invaluable. I can do anything after being up on a pamper pole and jumping off. Because it's not the fact that I'm jumping off of a 35-foot telephone pole. It's the fact that my team is holding me. My team is holding me. So I got really excited about RILA. But I still was just kind of a Rotary Club member, right? Until I went to Hamburg for the International Convention. And I saw Rotarians from all over the world. If you haven't seen Rotarians from Japan, you need to go to an international convention. They all dress alike. They look like a flock of birds. They're all in whatever color they chose to be that day, and they all move in step like a marching band, and it's a sight to see. Or some Rotarians from Africa. You've seen them. They're in all the fancy outfits. Rotary from head to toe and the big turban on top of their heads. That's when I became not just a Rotary Club member, a Rotarian. I want to know when you became a Rotary Club member and when you became a Rotarian. So I'm going to start over here. Wait, a lot of visitors over there. Hang on. Sucker. I want you to stand up and face the crowd and hold the pom-poms. Bill, you're going to tell them, what year did you become a Rotarian?
1987,
Okay.
and I was president the next year. We brought ladies in for the first time, and several of them quit because they didn't want to be in a club with women. And now look, more women, more is done too today
Because of girls, right?
because of girls. Yeah,
All right, I want to hear your Rotary story. Tell them loud.
my Rotary story.
Yeah, tell them why. What are you most proud of about being a Rotarian?
Well, one of the things is that I was a Rotarian in Tyler for a number of years, and then moved to Florida and didn't get into Rotary, and I knew something was missing. Came back here, and Mike Medke asked me to come to the club, did, and I found out what was missing. I wasn't a Rotarian anymore, and now I'm back, and I love it.
Since you were a good sport about being number one, you get to pick the next victim.
Oh, Lord.
Stand up. What year did you become a Rotarian? Stand up, stand up.
Do this. Okay. 2001 in La Quinta, California. And I was the new district manager for the La Quinta AAA office. And the retiring district manager says, Holly, you need to be a Rotarian. Come on. And so that's how I ended up being in Rotary. And then when I moved from California to Texas, I joined our club in 2003.
What year were you president?
07, 08, I think. Yeah, because Paul was behind me. He was 08, 09. He can tell me. He's like, no, you were before me. And then I've been an assistant governor and admin, and you just put up with me for some reason. So,
Okay, what are you most proud of?
these people,
Tell them, not me.
everything that you guys do, your boots on the ground, whenever we need it, for whatever we need, everybody goes, sure, what do we need to do? How do we sign up? How do we participate? There's never a question about getting people to volunteer for one thing or another, whether it's working hands, whether it doesn't matter. Everybody steps up and does what they need to do to make our community a better community. And I'm grateful to be associated and friends with all of you. So. Okay, I'm going to Pamela.
There you go. All right, when did you become a Rotarian?
Just been Bob.
Yay!
I became a Rotarian, I believe, in 2007 or 2008. And I did because I spoke, they asked me to speak at South Tyler and Diane's Club, and I went over and I spoke. And I'd heard of Rotary, I had no idea what it was. And, but you know, when you're self-employed and you have your own business and you know that you pay all the bills and everything you do brings in the money, and you're very careful about where you spend money or give money. And so I've always been uber sensitive to charities and things because I didn't want to be giving money to people it was all going to rich administrative. And so I talked to Tom DeWitt after the meeting, and he was telling me about Rotary and how powerful it is, and it was really #1 in the country for low maintenance expense and that sort of thing, and how much money goes to the people. And so I kind of joined because a lot of my friends were in that Rotary. But I mean, it's really difficult. And if you're a Rotarian, it's kind of like Bill said. If you're a Rotarian, you really don't need the words. If you're not a Rotarian, there aren't enough words. So it's the heart of all these people. Look at every single person in this room is people that I could just put my arms around, and I know if something happened, they would comfort me and hold me close. And it's that kind of family. And then everybody wants to do that to everybody in the community and the world. So it's powerful. It's a great day to be a Rotarian.
Find somebody over there. Thank you. I was married. You always wanted, or a cheerleader, weren't you? I was a band member. When did you become a Rotarian?
2011.
Okay, so you became a Rotarian in 2011. What does Rotary mean to you? Your life?
Service above self. And I fell in love with Rotary, particularly RILA, then the Young Citizens Club, and lastly the Pro.
She's a woman of few words, right? You want to pass it or you want to keep talking?
I'll pass it.
Well, I pass it. But does the work of 200.
Yeah,
I believe that.
All right.
Jennifer.
Thank you, Ms. Mary. Your turn. Okay, stand up. Ms. Jennifer. When did you become a Rotarian?
2012.
Here, follow me. Come up here. Now talk to everybody. No pressure.
Okay, so I became a Rotarian in 2012, and I'm just gonna be real honest and say some of the things that some people probably don't want to talk about, but I was receiving a lot of pressure at work to be a networker and to do more networking, and so someone said, hey, you wanna come visit Rotary? And I was like, oh yeah, check that off my work box. And so I came to Rotary, and I kind of liked it, and I kept going back, and I joined, and I can't tell you at what point I became a Rotarian, but I just know that at some point, it felt like family, and I just loved all these people, and I look forward to coming every week. And so, and I can't something I'm most proud of because there's been so much since I've been here. We donated money for an asthma bus for kids one year. We donated $50,000 to the food bank. We donated a van for veterans. I mean, it just goes on and on. We painted a mural at the blood bank. Small things, big things. We've just done so much, and so I'm just proud of all of it.
She's a Rotarian, isn't she? It doesn't matter to me. Good guy.
Yeah, look at that.
That's what I was gonna say.
You gotta come over here too so they can see you.
The pom-poms are perfect.
Turn around here, there you go. All right, so who's
Anybody
got-
ever
who's
told
got-
you look like John Fitzgerald?
Yeah, she does a little bit.
She was the sex one.
Miss America. Wow. She does kind of.
She does.
Okay, so I became a Rotarian the first time about 1981. So that makes me the oldest in the room probably, but anyway. And then the second time I was dormant for a while. Long story why, but you all that are bankers in the 80s know why. BJ talked me into coming back the second time, which was about mid-90s maybe. And then I was president in 2011. One uniqueness I have is that you mentioned you're a second generation in your club. I'm a third generation in this club. And so there's not very many of those that are in the same club. So
You're leaving out
I don't
another
know.
piece of the
Okay.
third generation.
do
How
I-
ma- There's a lineage that goes along with that third generation in your family.
yes,
You are all have been what?
we were all what?
Presidents.
Yeah,
Every
we were all
one of them.
president too. So we always do all those kind of things. But anyway, I think maybe it's the networking opportunity. I'm all about networking. And so, well, everybody else knows me. So. And it's just the fellowship and the different years. I loved the when I did get into the officer role, the people behind this were, you right behind me, Andy?
Couple of years ago.
Yeah, Justin Holt was right behind me. So, and I got to go to the International in New Orleans with BJ. And usually that's how I can remember when I was president, because she was president and I was president-elect, I think, at the time. And the day we were driving to New Orleans was her 70th birthday. So I always ask BJ, how old are you? Remember what year? That's a true story. But international, if you ever have an opportunity, I would have said that was probably one of my most favorite experiences, like you said. If you ever have that opportunity to go, do, because you'll never see anything like it. You're right. It was 10,000 people. Bill Gates was the speaker. BJ broke through the security to get close to him. I don't know if you remember that or not. I'm pulling her back going, we're not from Tyler, Texas, no, but anyway, it's just a great networking opportunity. I wish I could come more. I made it every single time when I was president. One time I walked in the door as they were ready to start the program, but it's not easy. As Tyler's gotten bigger and our traffic has gotten heavier, it's hard depending on where you are every day to get to this place, but this core group is here every time.
That's awesome.
But she's got to stand there.
I'll hold this for you with the big guy.
Yeah, he likes to tell stories, but I'll let him off the hook. I won't tell any stories on it. It is so much a blessing to be a part of this club and to see what this club continues to do on the foundation of people who are still here, who came before us as presidents of this club, like John Payne, David Nichols, D.M. Edwards, Henry, people who have led our community, Pam, people who look for how are we needed and what can we do to give people hope. So I am so blessed and so grateful to see y'all keep on keeping on. And I love you one and all.
Who wants to follow that? Anybody else want to share? Yes, sir.
Thank you. I started in Rotary in Marshall, Texas. I was a vice president for East Texas Baptist University, and our president came into a board meeting one morning and he said, "All right, gentlemen," at that time didn't have a lady on the staff, and he said, "We need to be more engaged in our community." And most of us looked around at each other and said, "I have no idea what that means." And finally he said, "Okay, I can tell you don't know what I'm talking about. You need to be in Rotary, you need to be in the Kiwanis, you need to be a Lion." And he just started on the table, and he got to me and he said, "Why don't you come with me to my Rotary Club?" I had never been to a Rotary Club, didn't know anything about Rotary, and so I went to the Marshall Club. And since my president said I immediately joined that day, and I thought it would be very nice since my boss was doing it anyway. Had no earthly idea what I was getting into. And immediately got involved with one of the ministries of the club. And it was there I did my first Paul Harris. And when I did my first Paul Harris, I really found out what Rotary is about and started really loving being a Rotarian. But it wasn't until my second time I go into pets that it really dawned on me what it meant to be a Rotarian. And that's where I became not just a Rotary member, but a Rotarian. And so serving this club as president has been one of the most joyful and meaningful times. I don't know if I enjoyed the president-elect job, but the president job was a joy. And it's always been a joy. People are very encouraging. And I'm just glad to be here. Like Minnie Pearl, I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of the club. Thank you.
In respect to the time, I don't have anything else to say. I think you all say it better than I could. And I want to thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your love for your community and your dedication to Rotary. And thank you. I know it's a small word, but thank you. Y'all have a great day.